Jai Hind and welcome to your own YouTube channel, Team MND The Futurists. And today I'm sharing insights on a long-term vision of America, though it's no more going to be a long-term. March has already come. I'm a little delayed in sharing this video with you. And why is this important in international relations for us to understand, so that Trump's move, be it a forced deal of F-35 or avoiding Ukraine, can be understood. If the US were to be successful, facilitate the removal of Iranian regime, its strength and its strategic position could improve in several ways. So why US is interested in Iran? But it also faced new challenges. Here's a realistic geopolitical breakdown of how it could play out. Now, what are going to be the potential strategic gains for the US? The first is energy security, oil market control. Iran is a major oil producer. Regime change could mean a pro-Western government that stabilizes supply and weakness OPEC's grip. A cooperative Iran could also counterbalance Russian oil influence. Then weakening the China-Russia-Iran axis. Iran has deepened ties with Russia and China, creating a powerful anti-West bloc. Now the regime change could disrupt their strategic supply chains, military partnerships, and even economic deals like BRICS expansion. Then strengthening Israel and Gulf allies, which is very, very important. Iran is the biggest backer of Hezbollah, Houthis, and Hamas, directly threatening Israel and Saudi. This regime change could weaken Iran's proxy war capabilities, leading to greater regional stability for US allies. And then expanding US influence in the Middle East. The Abraham Accord and new alliances show that Gulf states are warming up to US strategy. A new Iran could bring in a NATO-friendly power in the region, reducing US reliance on Turkey. Then military-industrial complex gains. The US defense industry would also see increased contracts for post-conflict stabilization. Arms sales to Gulf allies and reconstruction deals would boost the US economy. Then challenges and risk for the US while US execute its regime change strategy in Iran. First, power vacuum and proxy wars. A regime collapse without any stable transition could trigger civil war, allowing groups like ISIS or radical militars to rise. Then proxy groups, Hezbollah, Houthis could lash out violently before collapsing. Then China and Russia could exploit the situation. If not managed well, China or Russia could fund insurgencies and destabilize the region, just as the US did in Ukraine against Russia. Then China's Belt and Road project in Iran could also get military backing, creating a new battleground. Then economic fallout and market disruptions. Short-term oil prices could skyrocket due to instability affecting US inflation and even global trade. Iran's trade routes like Strait of Hormuz could also see sabotage, impacting global shipping. Domestic US political backlash. When we will talk about there going to be another Middle Eastern intervention, could also be unpopular domestically, especially after Iraq and Afghanistan. Isolationist movements. Trump-style policies could also resist deep engagement, making long-term strategy difficult. So can America really become stronger? Yes, but only if regime change is well executed in Iran. A pro-Western Iran would significantly shift Middle Eastern power dynamics in favor of the US. However, the risks of instability and Chinese-Russian counter moves make this a high-stakes gamble. How the US could orchestrate a controlled transition rather than a chaotic collapse, facilitating a controlled transition in Iran rather than a chaotic collapse which we are already witnessing in Ukraine. Now, this also requires a multifaceted strategy that balances pressure with diplomatic engagement, and here's how US could approach this. First, intensify economic and political pressures. Targeted sanctions, implement comprehensive sanctions focusing on key sectors that fund the regime's activities such as energy, petrochemicals, and finance. The MHSA Act, enacted in April 2024, exemplifies bipartisan efforts to hold Iranian leaders accountable for human rights abuses and even terrorism. Then diplomatic isolation, strengthen alliances to diplomatically isolate Iran, reducing its influence in international forums and even regional politics. And then support internal pro-democracy movements, empowering civil society, providing support to grassroots organizations advocating for democratic reforms with Iran. Now, this includes offering training, resources, and platforms to amplify their voices. Then there can be information campaigns, utilize media and technology to disseminate information that counters the regime propaganda, highlighting the benefits of democratic governance and even human rights. Then engage in strategic diplomacy. Negotiated transition, open back channel communications with moderate elements within Iran's political landscape to discuss pathways for a peaceful transition of power. Historical precedents, they also suggest that negotiated transitions like those in Poland and South Africa can lead to more stable outcomes. Security assurances offering guarantees to Iran's military and political elites to prevent a power vacuum and also ensuring a stable transition. Then fourth, prepare for post-regime stability. Now that's going to be extremely important. Then economic reconstruction plans. Develop comprehensive plans to assist Iran in rebuilding its economy, post-transition focusing on infrastructure and education and healthcare. Then regional security framework, collaborate with allies to establish a security framework that addresses potential power vacuums and even prevents extremist groups from gaining a foothold. Then what are going to be the challenges and what are the considerations that US must keep in mind? Risk of escalating increased pressure could lead the regime to adopt more aggressive regional postures or crack down harder on dissent. Then uncertain outcomes are also expected. Even with a controlled approach, the aftermath of regime change, it can be unpredictable, potentially leading to internal conflict or the rise of another authoritarian regime. Then regional repercussions are obvious. Neighboring countries, they might experience some kind of instability or even attempts to influence the transition to serve their own national interests or personal interests. In summary, while a controlled transition in Iran could enhance US strategic interests and regional stability, it's imperative, it necessitates a carefully calibrated approach that combines pressures with proactive engagement, always mindful of the complex and volatile dynamics at play. I hope you find this video informative. It was in my inbox since long and I just had to post it. I got a little delayed. Stay tuned for more such interesting updates. March is really expected, in geopolitics, March is expected to be highly complex and volatile. Jai Hind and Jai Bharat.